There's so much time and effort that goes into filming almost anything, and we think that we want to put all of this energy and resources and all of that precious footage on this little thing. It's pretty crazy. Like, if this snaps, if you lose it, all that effort, time, money, whatever you might have invested has all gone to waste. Gone. There, the SD. Where's the SD card? Okay, I found it this time, but I still think it's pretty crazy how we put so much trust in these little cards to store all of the time and effort and footage that we've made. And a lot of people just stick these into their MacBooks, go into Finder, press copy and paste, and then they think, yeah, like, I've got all the footage sorted. Now I can start editing. Problem is, you can do that, and most people have probably never really had any issues with copying and backing up footage this way. But I had an occasion a while back where I copied over footage and it ended up actually being corrupted during the copying process. And I thought there has to be a better way to solve this issue so this never ever happens again, and I don't have this anxiety about, oh no, this footage might get corrupted. And during my research to figure out a way to make sure that this never ever happened again, I came across an app called Offshoot, which is a piece of software that helps make sure that none of your files are going to get corrupted during the copying process. And it also has some other cool features in there that I use every single time I copy data off this SD card for YouTube videos that I make and onto my computer to then actually start editing, knowing that I have complete peace of mind because there's been no mess ups during the copying process. So in this video, I'm basically going to talk you through how I use it, how the software works, and then maybe by the end, you'll decide whether or not an app like this would be useful for your particular workflow. So this is the Offshoot UI right here. So as you can see, these are 3 disks that are connected to my computer. This is my computer's internal hard drive, and then an SSD and another hard drive that I have connected, along with some data underneath them about how many gigabytes or terabytes are currently on them. On the left side, you can see we've got sources and destinations. This is basically the stuff that I want to copy, and destinations being where I want to copy those sources to. So let's put this SD card, this precious SD card, into my computer. And right away, we see that the SD card pops up. The first thing we're going to do is tell the software where we want this footage to go. So let's just do it on my computer. Let's right click, destination folder, browse, and let's just put it on my desktop. And then let's choose which folder within this SD card that we want to copy. So let's right click, source folder, browse, and let's go private, M4 root, clip. This is a Sony card, so it's made all these folders by recording on my Sony a7S III. We want all of these. Let's select all of them, select. If I hit add transfer now, it's going to copy all of those files onto my desktop. But as you might notice, you're like, proxy footage? Why is it labeled like that? What does that mean? So this is one of the cool features of this app. You can tell the software to make folders during the copying process so that you can keep things a bit more organized. So I'm going to show you how I have that set up for my particular workflow. So let's go into the settings. If we go on to organize, these are presets that I've made. So I have this preset, which is my A7S III card copying preset. Right here, we have a setting called auto label. Instead, you should think about this as like auto, I'm going to make some folders for you label. It should be called that. So here we have 001, which is how I'd name my card. So A being A camera, 001 being card 1. And then if we put a / here, as we have, then I put raw footage. Now it's going to make 2 folders. So it's going to make the A001, and then within that folder, there's going to be another folder called raw footage, and within that folder is going to be the files that we want to copy over. Another amazing feature that Offshoot has that I use all the time is rename file. What this does is pretty self-explanatory. It's going to rename every single file that you're copying as they're being copied to your SSD or whatever location that you choose. There's a bunch of formats here that you can drag on to include during the card formatting. But the way I personally do it is I just have the file's year, the month, the day that the actual file itself was shot. And then I have the title of the project. So for instance, here, let's put Offshoot YouTube demo. And then I also put the card number that it came from. So here, this is the first card, and then the file name of the actual card, which on my A7S is probably going to be something like C00176, for example. So that's pretty much all we need to do. Again, you can make as many presets as you want. I have one for proxies as well, where I don't actually need to have the A001 folder anymore because I just put the proxy folder within that. You can make as many presets as you want. So let's just choose this one for now. And then we're going to hit add transfer. And as you can see on the desktop in the upper right corner, it's already made these folders for me, as I said. It's made A001, raw footage, and then now all the files are currently being copied. Apparently with Offshoot, there's also some speed improvements that it does if you copy via the software versus with Finder. I personally haven't compared this enough to know if this is legit and real, if it is actually faster. I honestly don't know, but it seems pretty quick if I copy to an SSD. And then, yeah, like it just went really, really fast then. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it is legit. Maybe, like, I'm sure you could test it out to see if it does make a difference. And here we go. It's all done. So as you can see, everything's copied. All these files that I wanted to send over are all here. I also got this folder called transfer logs, which just confirms that it 100% copied over correctly. It tells you how long it took. It tells you that, you know, every single file did copy over correctly. So if you want to have like that extra double 100% confirm that there was no errors, you've got this doc as well. Mainly because Offshoot uses this verification system. So if I'm in the settings here, I can see like the different ways it verifies and protects the files as they copy. I just have it on source. So as you can see, like to rule out read errors, an independent source checksum verification is done. So it basically does some sort of algorithm data thing to make sure there's absolutely no error that could have possibly occurred during this transfer process. And if you're working on a really important project where, you know, like I'm lucky, I'm shooting YouTube videos. So if I mess up, then, you know, I am the actor. I could just sit down and shoot them again, which is, I don't like to do, but I could theoretically. But if you're, you know, if you're away in Africa or somewhere like that, you realistically can't do the shoot again. It doesn't make sense to just rely on Finder when you can use a software like this that makes it 100% confirm that you have not got any corrupted data or any files on the hard drives that you're copying to, especially if you're copying to multiple hard drives as well. There's also a bunch of extra features and integrations that honestly I don't use very much, but they're there if you happen to need them. So things like Connect, which is pretty cool actually. I used it maybe once or twice on a film shoot before, where it's an app that you connect with your phone. So you can have something copy in, you can leave and go wherever, and then you'll get a push notification on your phone saying that, hey, your computer finished that copying. So that is kind of cool because if you're working on a project and you have your laptop copying somewhere away from where you're doing your shoot and you really desperately need the card back to reformat, you can just get this push notification on your phone and you're like, okay, the card's copied. So you can just go back and grab it and continue using it on your particular shoot. Honestly, the only thing I could knock Offshoot for is the price. You might get mad at me watching all the way through and seeing like $150, what the hell? For a software that just copies files? I get it. I actually think it was cheaper when I first started using this a couple of years ago. And it's definitely something pricey for something that seems like a simple copy and paste. But if we think about it, if you're doing really, really important videos and work and you want to have something that, again, 100% make sure that you're not going to lose anything ever. And maybe you've been really lucky. Maybe you have just copied stuff to Finder and had no problems whatsoever. But people losing data or having corrupt data is a relatively common occurrence. And I guess depending on the SD card you're using, that might also affect reliability when you copy stuff. So if you just want to pay something one time to make sure that you just never have to worry or have that extra peace of mind that you're not going to have something corrupted, then I guess $150 would be worth it to you. For me, it was. It is a one-time payment and then you just get a year of updates. So if you want to keep getting more updates, you have to pay a bit extra to get future updates. That is also annoying. I'm not a big fan of the model of like paying for a software and then you lose updates after a year. I think it's silly. A lot of software seem to be doing that now, but I'm totally not down with it. I don't like it. So that is really the big negative with the software, is that it's not very affordable. I think it is primarily targeted for like people who are doing some form of filmmaking or videography as a full-time job, hence why they're not going to like price it at $10 or whatever. But technically $150 to make sure that you're never going to mess up copying and you're always going to 100% have your files copied over as you shot them. $150, if you look at it this way, is a small price to pay for that extra comfort and peace of mind that your files are not gonna get corrupted. But again, I understand this is way too unaffordable for many of you out there. So if you can't afford it, you can keep using Finder. Hopefully you'll never have the experience that I went through of having files corrupted. Probably if you get a better SD card, you can also mitigate against this. I think this SD card alone was €100 when I bought it, which is crazy for an SD card. It's literally metal, so I'm not gonna try and bend it, but I don't think I actually can bend it. And it's also waterproof apparently, versus, you know, the standard cheap SD cards, the SanDisks that many of you probably know and love. It's all plastic, and I already have like a bunch that are kind of breaking. And I put this into my camera for YouTube videos ago and popped it out, and I was like, oh, this is really dumb, because if this breaks as I'm trying to copy over the footage, I'm screwed. I've lost it all. Hence why investing in something like this, like a metal SD card that is likely to last longer and won't get damaged as easily and hopefully won't get corruption as easily, it was worth the investment. So until you can afford better SD cards, a software like Offshoot might be the next best thing to protect your footage. And if you just want the double like VIP exclusive experience, get a good quality SD card plus this, use them together, and then you'll never have any problems with losing data ever again, or even worrying about losing data unless you lose them. If you want to check out how I shoot my YouTube videos, you should check out this video over here and hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm going to get my good friend Tommy Wiseau to personally check if all of your SD cards have been formatted correctly. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.